All right, let's get into the Latin case system. There are 6 cases in Latin inflection. They are the nominative, the genitive, accusative, dative, ablative, and the vocative. Now, the nominative, that's the dictionary form. That is the most basic, most common. This is used for the subject of a sentence, the person, thing, or idea performing the action. So the best way to memorize that is the thing verbs, right? So if I walk, if you eat, you are the subject, I am the subject of those sentences. We are doing the verbing, as it were. That makes that subject in the nominative case. The genitive case, this indicates possession or relationship with something else. In English, the equivalents are of or apostrophe s. So the genitive can be best thought of the thing or things apostrophe s in the possessive sense. Now the dative, that indicates the indirect object of a sentence, usually the recipient or a beneficiary of an action, of the action which is done by the nominative subject. And that can be best memorized as to or for the thing. So we have nominative, the thing verbs, genitive, of the thing, dative, to or for the thing. And number 4 is the accusative, and this marks the direct object of a sentence, the receiver of an action of a verb. Best little snippet to memorize that is verb that thing, or verb the thing. Another way to memorize the accusative is to think of the word accusation that makes up the accusative, like the word from the root. So if I, or you, whoever, nominatively accuse you or someone else, the recipient of the accusation is the direct object of the verbing of the action of the accusing. Now, the ablative, this one has various uses, including indicating the means or the instrument of an action, location or separation. There are various types of the ablative of place, ablative of time when, etc., etc. That's for the more intermediate advanced. But for just learning the ablative, the best English equivalent to connect that to is by, with, or from the thing. By, with, or from the thing. And finally, we come to the vocative. This is used for direct address, often in the form of a person's name. You'll see this in English. You won't see this these days. You'll see it more in like the poetry of the 1900s and back, or in scripture. You know, if you read the even the English King James Bible, it'll be "Oh Lord," that kind of thing. In old Latin poetry, you'll have like "O Catulle," which is Catullus like talking to himself. "O Caesar," "O Jupiter," etc., etc. That's the vocative case. And often it gets kind of forgotten in conventional Latin instruction because in many, if not most cases, it looks a lot like the nominative. So you can, in the interest of sort of efficiency of, brain storage and usage, it's often just learn the nominative and know that the vocative mostly looks like that, except when it doesn't, and we'll get to that later kind of thing. But for the purpose of this video, within the scope of this video, the vocative is the 6th case, and it works like the invocation of another. So to review, nominative, the thing verbs, genitive, of the thing, accusative, verb that thing, dative, to or for the thing, ablative, by, with, or from the thing, and the vocative, o thing. Now let's put some of them together. If I say, I give the treat to the dog, ask yourself, who's doing the verbing and what is being verbed? Well, I give. We put that through our verbal matrix and we have, okay, I verb, the thing verbs. So that's the nominative, I give. Give the treat. Well, that sounds like verb that thing. And what's that? That's the accusative, right? And to the dogs, we have a to. So that triggers in our minds, okay, to, or for. So that's dative, to or for the dog. I give, nominative, give the treat. Accusative, to the dog, dative. 3 cases in 1 sentence. If we add another one, I gave the cat's treat to the dog, and don't worry that I changed give to gave. That's beyond the scope of this. Don't worry about it. It's not a trick question. I gave the cat's treat to the dog. That would be the genitive, because the cat's, that apostrophe S tips you off to the, okay, it's possession, ownership. So that would be the genitive. So you could easily say the treat of the cat, which is a more Latin way of thinking about it. It's generally easier, actually, as you get more into Latin, to think of it as of the something rather than apostrophe S. That's another thing. Anyways, I gave the cat's treat to the dog. We have a nominative, genitive, dative, and accusative. And the treat is still in its separate case. It's just the possessive of the cats. That is a genitive. Nothing else has changed. Because we're still verbing the treat, as it were. It just happens to belong to the cat. We've added additional information to whatever was already existing in the previous phrase. Now, if we had another one, I gave the cat's treat to that dog by the river. So by, that's by, with, or from, which makes it the ablative. In this case, an ablative of place, by the river. And if we want to add the vocative, we have to make it a little more poetic. So if I were to say, "Oh, ye foolish mortals, I gave your cat's treat to that dog by the river," that would be the vocative, because we are invoking ye foolish mortals whose cat treats I gave to the dog by the river. And that is every case in one phrase. Now let's review. Nominative, the thing verbs. Genitive, of the thing. Accusative, verb the thing. Dative, to or for the thing. Ablative, by, with, or from the thing. And vocative, oh thing. And that's it. That's the Latin case system, very simply explained with examples and memory hooks. Thank you for watching. If you like that, subscribe, like the video, share it with another Latin student. And if you want the full Latin experience, come to my Patreon. It's Wartburg Philology. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.